What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 39 of my Total Warhammer 3 Vlad and Isabella Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, a couple funny little battles wherein we went back to basics using massive amounts of zombies and skeletons to hold back tides of both orcs and Norskins. That of course saw us victorious at Castle Alexandrinov and wherever it was that Mash One Finger attacked, and now we're ready to hit the enemy back in reprisal, or at least we will be next turn. Plus we got this new army for our Aldous, which is just a temporary army for now, actually. In fact, while we're here, let's get him the Unliving Host, because he's definitely going to have a decent amount of Graveguard in here after all. There we go. And that'll significantly power up his army. And 47 melee defense on the skeleton spheres is pretty good. It's equivalent to the melee defense of the Graveguard. Of course, they don't have the armor, and still got plenty of staying power, so they should work, especially against the basic, or relatively basic Norscan armies. We shall see. Now, plenty to do. Roderick, you have to attack Mr. Grisguts here because I don't know what the heck he's doing, but he's behaving crazily, and we might as well just put him out of his misery. Let's attack him immediately, I think, and we're gonna fight this manually real quick, mostly to try to not, close victory. I don't want to get too many casualties here, so we'll have to try to be careful. Do we need to bother doing this cinematically? I feel like we can get a lot better battles this episode, so I think we could just go regular style. Plus, I also feel like we're mostly just going to send in our elites and let them take care of business, and then just move our ghouls around to catch the enemies as they run and stuff. So yeah, let's do that manually quick, and then we'll deal with the rest after. Oh, also, did I give the Armor of Destiny to Roderick? I meant to, but I don't remember if I did. We should double check on that. We've gotten some decent items lately, so we should probably get them on Lords. Especially Lords that would count. I also had another thought about a couple of the army compositions, specifically the Necrarch's army, Rudy's army. We could probably get a couple of war compasses in there. That would really work, and it would make sense for the Necrarch in particular, and I kind of like the idea, so I'm probably gonna do so. Of course, it's gonna cost us like an extra 1,000 dark magic per turn, so we may want to wait on that, but it does make sense. Plus they also give not elemental mastery, what's it called? Something mastery. Winds of Magic mastery? Something mastery. For him to do more damage. Master of Winds of Magic, I don't know. Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll get to it. Alrighty, you guys go here, you guys go here. It's the same thing that is given by Greater Arcane Conduit, and that all the Tzeentchian stuff loves. Okay, and then you can go here. I forgot, are you on your mount? Yeah, you're still on your mount. Or are you walking? Oh, you're still walking. Okay, well, these guys are going to be real slow, other than Roderick, of course. You guys can be Group 2, Rod can be Group 1, and, well, the Terrorgeist and the Flyers can sort of follow him around. Don't really need the bats. In fact, the bats are going to be deleted shortly, so... Well, then that actually does mean that it doesn't matter what happens to them, but if we have to fight the Rot next turn, we should probably be careful. Anyway, you guys group up and start moving forward. The enemy's not going to move forward themselves. Is that a unit of Black Orcs? Indeed it is. So we should get our breath attack on them. And dodge that, please. Thank you. That was going for us, right? No. Oh, no, it was going for our poor Crypt Horrors. Though they didn't lose a model. Still annoying. How dare you? I guess he has a Ruby Ring of Ruin. Alrighty, and let's move you in. You can summon Crypt Horrors on the enemy Error Boys at least, but right after you breathe. Alright, let's also dodge those arrows. Do the dance, please, and then breathe on the Black Orcs. Ain't as effective as a Black Dragon Breath, but it's still something. Ah, there you go. And then summon these right there. Probably could have turned them around, in fact, but whatever. There we go, and start dropping the Spirit Leeches on the enemy Lord. You are at your healing cap already, huh? Wait, minus 50% healing cap means no healing cap whatsoever? I wonder if that thing is bugged. Because the no ability to heal whatsoever is quite annoying. In fact... Oh, unless he was just hurt. Maybe he was just hurt at this part. As in, he started with that as his base HP. We shall see shortly. Anyway, you guys get in there. And we'll follow along with some zombies shortly. Regular Terrorgeist and other Flyers in. And ghouls get ready to hit the enemy from the sides. In fact, you can be Group 4 and you can be Group 5. Like so. And there we go. And drop it on the enemy lord while you're at it. And here comes the enemies. Or here come the enemies. And you guys can attack them. And you guys can move in and help out, and then you guys can attack them as well. We can also heal with Invocation of the Hex afterwards as well. They're summoning some zombies to get in the enemy's way. Right there, gotta be careful with our poor Crypt Horrors. Huh, actually, judging by the looks of this, yeah, okay, so as we can see, the healing cap is just permanent, as in... minus 50% healing cap means no healing whatsoever for anybody. That doesn't feel right. Unless it's much more than minus 50% and it only displays 50%. Huh. Yeah, okay, this plague's a lot more devastating than it would seem like it should be, you know what I mean? Or at the very least, the tooltip is lying. But it's okay, this army is just about done for, although we gotta be careful with our poor Crypt Horrors, which are losing... well, they're losing HP. And you can't even use Ghoul King of Ashoran at all. Yeah, so everybody's healing cap is absolutely 0. Damn. I do have to read what that plague does exactly, once again at least. And just to see if I misread it or something. Because maybe I did. Because this makes our Crypt, well, it makes Invocation of the Heck useless, it makes all of the hunger we have on a bunch of units useless, it makes our, well... like I said, half our magic's useless, it makes all our vamps abilities useless, it's quite unfortunate. Master of the Dead, Mortis Engine healing effects, nobody can heal and nobody can regain models. Very odd. Fortunately, we don't have to go after the enemy units here because they were in march stance. And as long as the unit losses weren't too great, it looks like mostly one of the Crypt Horrors died. I got Zincha on the mind, as usual. Yeah, just a quick read-through of that plague. I just want to see what that is. And especially Roderick, doesn't he have Immortal Horror? Or maybe he doesn't. Because shouldn't Immortal Horror directly counteract the plague? Because minus 50% healing cap would be countered by the plus 50% healing cap that he should theoretically have, so it shouldn't really affect him at all. Let's get you... tiny bit of healing or a bit of money. You know what? We need money right now. And just out of curiosity, yeah, black cats for everybody. Lovely. Nightmares, sort of anti-heroes. So battle healing cap minus 50%. That's all it says. You know, I'm not entirely sure what that means then. Does it mean that it just goes down to 50% HP and then you can heal normally past that? Is that what it means? I feel like that's not what it should mean. Oh, you don't have Immortal Horror. You know what? Out of curiosity, we should get that right now. I was gonna go through evasion and some other stuff, but I want to see exactly how this functions. So let's get you... you know, normally I'd get Darkling Skies, but I feel like the ambush success chance for the Ghoul army is quite good. Mostly because, well... they like to ambush. On the other hand, because most of the army has stock, it's almost like every battle could be an ambush in theory. Oh, hard to say. You know what, if we have points left over, we might want to get both at some point. Especially if we don't bother going through to Uncanny Prescience. We'll have to see about that later. Although that said, you have a lot more points that you have to use compared to somebody like the Necrarch, because you are quite the fighter. So there is that. Now let's just go for Darkling Skies and Immortal Horror for now. Either way, I want to see about this cap. And then you can't move from here, but at least you're healing up in our own territory. So let's just stay here, and let's slowly start moving towards Prague. I was hoping that we could ambush the enemy after this, but oh well. You can probably get some points. Boost income is not relevant, but Raise, Dead, and Invocation of the Hex certainly are, so keep that going. Alright. That's reasonable. Now, Vlad, you can't move this turn, and Aldous, you have to stay there, and your Necro is coming towards you. Great. Who else needs to move this turn? Waller, you technically don't need to move, per se, but what we want to do is summon a unit of Crypt Horrors in your army. And the reason for that... Crypt Horrors right there. And the reason for that is this. The enemy army may attack, and if they break through gates with their Doom Flayers, we will want something behind those gates that can actually kill the Doom Flayers. The Fort Saul garrison is not particularly adept at that. The Black Knights might be able to take care of a unit, but not that great at doing so. Even though generally they probably would be able to do it, they might not be able to hold them, as in they might not be able to have enough mass. I'm not sure. So I think those Crypt Horrors are necessary. I'm also tempted to get a unit of bats in here as well, just to go after all of those Warp Lightning Cannons. And just the one unit of bats should suffice, mostly because we have one unit of bats here. You know what? Let's also get a couple. Unholy Lodestones. That should power up this army significantly. But I don't want to go overboard, because then Nickit will just jump over this place. So a couple of Unholy Lodestones in there. Good enough. We'll see if he sieges or if he tries to jump over. If he tries to jump over, I guess we'll have to do more summons. But what can you do? And we'll see. Now, Durbach, you still need to be destroyed. Maldwin is still here. Though, this may be a decent time to just have Maldwin kill Durbach and then go after Verdanos and Zvorak here. And after the Bloody Hands in general, especially since Bathilda is here. And if Bathilda doesn't need to go after Ikit, which remains to be seen, of course, but if that is the case, then we would be free to start taking all these territories. Maybe the thing to do. You know what? What do we have here? A couple of garbage units. Let's summon some zombies and some basic skeletons. Just the cheap stuff, of course. Let's say something like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be sufficient. Now, what do we have in terms of garrison here? Can we siege this? Yeah, probably. As long as Maldwin has damaging spells of his own. You know, let's get him Flock of Doom so he can actually hurt enemies. And let's probably power that up as well. Ooh, we're 1 point away from Transformation of Kadan and Wind of Death, which are great. Alrighty, let's do Evasion, and then we'll get that afterwards. Then you should be able to kill this, or at least auto-resolve it. Yes, one of the zombies will die, but we don't care. Good, and then we'll take the money back, because we just spent it on getting this army. Not so much that this army is costing us, mind you. Then, you can't reach Verdanos, but you can get nearly to it. So you're gonna go walk right up to that, and we'll attack them next turn. Well, we'll ask to join more. Especially if we're going to take Gronti Mingle, we need Zoltathios to be useful and clear out some stuff so we don't immediately lose territory to the Bloody Hands. Plus, I'm sick of them being in the middle of our territory now that we're expanding. Okie dokie, that looks good to me. Then, Mathilda and Peter, we have to figure out what to do with you. Now, Pete, I was thinking we'd put you into ambush right out here. Like so. In the hopes that Warp Attack changes his mind and goes for Karak Drawn instead of what he's currently doing. Of course, this will allow the Karak Azul dwarves to live for at least one more turn, but hopefully we can overcome that. Now, you're out of Steel Tech, and you have to go find some orcs to Steel Tech from, so move southward. Thrisha, you should be joining the... Bathilda's army. Actually, Bathilda, we could make you leave Barak Var for now. Let's put the walls up there while we're at it. It's not going to be able to be very defensible, but there aren't any enemies other than Morse around here. And it's kind of unclear what Morse is doing.
No, you failed.
I would imagine that they're heading for us. Where are you turned to? Actually, you're turned to this way. Maybe they're going for the Dragonborn mines, or Dragonhorn mines. But Queek is heading north. Oh man, I really miss reveal faction intentions from the Zinj campaign. That'd be great right now. You also have to be able to somehow take Migdal von Galbarak and Karak Hearn territories. So that would probably have to be Bathilda. Alright, fine. Bathilda, then I'm gonna send you to Matorka. But all the way to Karak Angazar next, and then you can go around and either kill Ikit or move around and take Migdal von Galbarak, making a brief stop in at Castle Drakenhof and Tempelhof to get to the vampire crypts up and running. We should probably prepare for that by getting the Dark Castle up in Tempelhof then as well. Although the Forbidden Library may not be worth building, but at least well, the Drakenhof needs the upgrade as well. 10k. It might not be worth it right now. We'll see. The reduction is significant, but it is once again several turns where she's not doing anything. Okie dokie, you guys are good now. And Tech Thieves, oh man, there's a lot of you, okay. Also, Thrisha, please finally catch up to Bathilda. Watch her get assassinated by something while she's on the way. I would not be surprised at all. That would be just like this game. Mount Silver Spear, okay, you can't do anything there, but you do need to find others to assassinate, so move down here. And we got somebody over here. Aha, Ronan. Where are you going? You're a Pestilence Scheme guy, right? Yeah, you're not a Doom engineer. But you still concern me. And oh wow, lots of stuff going on over here. I know, look, it's Imric. This is your army, Imric? Just a giant pile of light armor archers? Oh, that's awful. Huh, wait, is the AI Imric able to get all the special dragons, or no? Huh. This is Sun Dragon. Well, interesting. Let's see what else we got here. Tech Thief. You, I assume that there's Skaven here. Or did we already try that and there were in fact no Skaven there? You actually need to steal tech, but you're running out of places to steal it from. You know what, move down here, you can go after Zvorak and Verdanos and stuff like that. Start heading this way. Too many Tech Thieves now lack the requisite number of nearby provinces to steal tech. You, Salvatore, you were out to find the High Elves and find them you did, but there's still probably more High Elves to find, so keep going up here. They may not be super happy with us right now, but will hopefully improve over time. And in fact, what you could do is you could land and start annoying Nakari up here, because that'll make all the elves friendlier. In fact, maybe we send a couple Tech Thieves out Nakari's way, specifically to make these guys friendlier. Certainly an option. Then we got other Tech Thieves to go. You have 4 turns, so you're actually not going to waste your money right now. Tempted to kill this guy, but you're not on guard, so he didn't try to kill you, but you're also only level 12. He's level 3, he's probably likely to fail even if he tries. Although the AI is done okay doing that in the past. Anyway, you Tech Thief, keep doing what you're doing. You Tech Thief. 4 turns, everybody's at 4 turns. Yeah, I guess I stopped stealing tech on roughly the same time for all of them. So we'll do that again shortly, but let's not waste the time right now. Okie dokie, now we have a little bit of cash to spend before we end the turn and hope that some of our ambushes succeed. Not you, Fort Stragov, you're going to be traded nonetheless. Castle Alexandrinov, same with you, but you need to have Aldous move out first. Alright, so that's looking good. Western Border Princes. Well, we probably do want the port at Myrmidons. It does generate a very solid amount of cash. Let's do that. Argalis, let's get your upgrade up and running. And Erengrad, you will probably not keep the Lich Yard. Yeah, that's one of the problems, just to address a comment a couple of episodes ago. About Lich Yards, and yes, I obviously do want to upgrade them all to Tier 3, to the Ossuary, in order to get that Hero Recruit rank upgrade for Necromancers. It's just a matter of opportunity cost. At 1800, it's a little bit expensive, and there's always something more important to upgrade, essentially. And then there's the fact that I never know where exactly we're going to keep those around. Like, yes, we know that we're going to keep them at Nagenhof and Mordheim, which is why we built them here, or at least one of the reasons. And then the same thing goes for these territories, but in a lot of other territories, they're going to be deleted for other sort of things. Actually, we could do the same in Flensburg and Needling as well. Well, then again, this might be another place for a Balefire Brazier. And just because that's what we're doing here. In fact, we should be upgrading those Balefire Braziers to Tier 4 next turn, and they're going to cost us a pretty penny as well. You know what? We'll wait on those, I think. And in fact, I think we can save the rest of the money, because there's a bunch of stuff that we want to upgrade, and we'll have to otherwise save for it. Port Oberstyre, you're still our military territory, so we might want to upgrade this. You know what? Let's start upgrading it. You never know when we actually want to not raise debt. It's not come up before too many times, but you know, the possibility will always exist. Anyway, let's end the turn. And let's hope that those ambushes work. It's mostly the Pete ambush that I'm really hoping will work here, because then we don't have to chase after the Moors army. And underway interception. It may not be an ambush, but that works for me. We're going to fight this cinematically, mostly because Pete hasn't had too much time to enjoy himself. We'll be facing a Warlock Engineer here, and ooh, Brass Cleaver. If we could steal that, I would be very happy. He's also got 3 Rattling Guns, which are the biggest threat on the field. The Doomflayers could be annoying, but the Vargeists can take care of them, and so can the Black Knights, so I'm not really worried about that. And the Warp Grinders could be annoying for our pile of infantry, but otherwise we're probably okay. Also gotta watch out for the Warp Lightning spam on top of our infantry again, but this should be pretty fun. Let's get to it cinematically. It's so nice that the underway is big enough to allow all your flying units to still fly. Alrighty, here we go. I'm really glad that this ambush worked out, as otherwise Mr. Hellkeek? I think that was a different rat. Mr. Warpatek was going to jump up to the high place or to the Silver Road or somewhere where we'd have to follow him and defend, which would be really annoying. Now, his army isn't that big of a threat, but I do think that it is better than it looks, in the sense of all Skaven armies. It has a bunch of clan rats and Skaven slaves that we don't really care about at all, but it has a few annoying units, namely the 3 units of Rattling Guns, as well as the unit of Warp Grinders. The Warp Grinders can obviously use their Warp Quake to damage our infantry blob, as well as the Seismic Snare to trap units while the Rattling Guns go to town. And that's not all. Of course, the Lord is the lore here, the Howling Warp Gale, that's the spell. The Howling Warp Gale is obviously a threat that is fairly decent against all of our flying units. We do have quite a few Vargeists, after all, that this particular army relies upon, and thus we do have to be careful with them getting trapped by that Howling Warp Gale and then ripped apart by the Rattling Guns. Of course, we're going to start off by annoying said Rattling Guns, and we're going to get a Howling Warp Gale on us as well. There we go. Let's see how long you're trapped there for, buddy. And damn, unfortunately our zombies didn't quite manage to engage the enemy Rattling Guns. A few units obviously trapped, but the AI is pretty good at not getting the unit engaged. So, what can you do? On the bright side, the enemy has no artillery to speak of, so they will have to walk up towards us as we annoy them with our range, and we are also going to countercharge the enemy Doomflayers, which appear to be approaching from both sides of the map with our various units of knights, both the Varix Reavers? I think it's Varix Reavers. It's not Derek's Reavers. That's for damn sure. Alrighty, there we go. Gonna get those Doom Flayers, and over here, same thing. It is indeed Varix Reavers. And then we're gonna get them on this side as well. They should be able to destroy them. I mean, there may be a little bit of a tough target for you. You have magic damage, but you don't have armor piercing. They do have a fairly decent amount of armor at 114, but it should still be reasonable enough, especially with a decent amount of you guys attacking them. Over in the center here, the enemy Lord is going to go immediately after our Mortis Engine, and Doomwheel versus Mortis Engine seems like a pretty cool matchup. And there we go, and of course he's going to be dropping Warp Lightning at the same time as additional Howling Warp Gales catching the rest of our flyers. Got to be really careful with these armies, and the Howling Warp Gales trapping too many of your flying units. They've got 3 Vargeists, which certainly hurts, and those Vargeists were heading towards the Rattling Guns, though fortunately these ones appear to be right under said Vargeist, so it shouldn't be too problematic getting them. And one of the other ones here is engaged finally by zombies, and the Warp Grinders also engaged by zombies. So we managed to essentially engage all their most threatening things, and the ones that remain are about to be hit by those Vargeists as soon as the Howling Warp Gale ends. It also seems that the Warp Flayers here, Doom Flayers? Doom Flayers. I keep wanting to append warp to everything Skaven, but yeah, the Doom Flayers are trapped and are getting slowly destroyed by our knights with lances and barding, which ain't too bad. The enemy Lord is also having a fairly tough time in the center here, and we have also sent Peter to deal with him personally, as otherwise it would take too long, and he'll continue dropping spells on us. He's gonna pop yet another Howling Warp Gale, and it seems like the uptime on this is damn fantastic, isn't it? You just constantly use this, though unfortunately for them, our other Vargeists have landed, and those 2 units of Rattling Guns are out of the picture, and the other one, I believe, was destroyed by the 1 unit of Vargeist that was not, in fact, trapped by the Warp Gale. And there we go. With the ringers off the field, we really aren't all that threatened, and the Warp Grinder's gonna run away as well, and didn't even manage to get either their Seismic Snare or their Warp Quake right in the center here, which obviously would have been the most threatening thing that they could have done. Otherwise, the balance of power is very, very much in our favor. The Vargeists are now switching to targets, hitting enemies in the back, and forcing them to rout. And there we go, and our knights will be running around catching any other Doom Flayers that they can lay their lances on. Not a euphemism. Or is it? Alrighty, let's keep going here. Looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a duel between Maldwin and that Doom Wheel riding Lord. Although, unfortunately for the enemy, our range units are able to hit it in the back because of the way it's turned, which is not gonna go so well for said Doom Wheel. Besides, I don't think that the Doom Wheel would be particularly effective in fighting the Lord one-on-one either way, and just like that, it does seem to rout. And it's dropped fairly considerably. Did I say Maldwin? I meant Peter. Without hurting Peter all that much. Perfect. And it does look like the entire enemy army routs fairly quickly there. The Vargeists did a lot of work in the background, and I think a lot of this has to be given to Peter personally, as in, he dropped zombies in all these units, right? That's why they're all essentially full HP, but it also prevented them from joining the rest of the enemy army, which means the rest of the army was destroyed, all these melee units were unable to help all of their elites, like their Rattling Guns, from protect them from the Vargeists, and then of course they all afterwards routed because they couldn't do anything. Beautiful. Alright, well done everybody. We don't need to chase the enemy down because it is a underway interception. We do need to get a little bit of a heal up and running, so we're just gonna join everybody here. But otherwise we're looking good. We're after all in our own territory as well, so even the slight amount of damage that we took, which was indeed slight, is not gonna make much of a difference as we'll heal to full anyway. Alright, not bad, and not only that, but we got ourselves a potion of healing. Very nice pickup as usual. Definitely the most annoying thing about fighting that army was the fact that... oh, forgetting the name of the spell. The anti-air spell. And I just said it too, like 2 seconds ago. It's just slipped my mind. I'll remember it suddenly in the middle of the episode, and when I say it, that's why. Yeah, the annoying thing about that is it stops the orders of flying units, as in, you give them orders, and then they get affected by the stop thing, and then they pretend that the orders were never given afterward, which is really irritating, because then you have to find the units that were given orders previously, and then redo that. Anyway, we'll return the captives for the money, because we're in our own territory, and thus should heal here. And let's see if anybody else attacks us.
Thou shalt treat me with the respect I deserve, or die.
Let me guess, Throggy, peace? Is it peace? Yeah, it's peace, but is it going to happen? I mean, 6.7k is not bad, but we are about to attack more of his territories. You know what, let's destroy this with Vlad, and then we'll see how he feels about peace after that. I mean... it would certainly work to leave this place, at least with Vlad for now, while we build up this particular area, and then maybe even move out towards the Darklands orcs and stuff. On the other hand, they will just declare war on us eventually again later, so, we'll hold off on this for now. Plus, a lot of factions probably like the fact that we're attacking them, wouldn't they? Karakazul, let me guess, you want the same exact thing. Not gonna happen. Alright, enemy killed in battle, and that potion of healing, though we will have to figure out who to give this to. Pete's got himself a zombie dragon, though I'm not entirely sure we actually want him on that, mostly because, well, a lot of other units have zombie dragons, and I feel like not everybody should have one, you know what I mean? There should be some variety, and oh, hello. Isn't it another Skaven army here? Well, Pete, you may have more work for you to do. And in fact, you know what we could also do while we're here? Disband this unit of flyers and replace it with... Oh. Wait, I could have sworn that we could have... Wait. Is it because we're in Mount Squighorn now? Yeah, it's because we're in Mount Squighorn. Okay, that's fine. Go here. 2 character drawn. Like so. Then... Yes, now that we're in Carrick-Drawn, we can raise anything we damn well please, and what we please to raise is another Vargeist, because they're basically free. And there we go, 150. Beautiful. About as expensive as a frickin' Gladeguard, and much cheaper than Graveguard. Graveguard. Then you're gonna go into ambush, in the hopes that Mormel over here will try to attack Carrick-Drawn. One of the unfortunate things is the possibility that Queek might go for Karazakarak. What he could also do is bypass Karazakarak and go for the Pillars of Grugni instead, which we wouldn't be able to defend. Though I suppose... I mean... If Bathilda finishes up out here, Howling Warp Gale is the spell I was thinking of. I told you what would happen. If Bathilda finishes up out here with the Bloody Hands, we could very well just have her move on and attack Queek, depending. Though Ikit is sieging Waller, I assume Dulceth here is going to reclaim Karakazorn. Oh damn, Shife the Blade is back. Oh, that's not good. You know what? We just sent a Tech Thief out here. You have to go back and kill Shife the Blade again. Though, that was your job before, so I'm not super happy about you not having killed him previously. What is this? Metabol. You have moved right past our lord here. We could attack it, but he'll run. He can't take Miragliano, even... there's no way, Not with this army. We can ignore that pretty freely. I think we just continue to go and take Skavenblight next turn or so. So move here, and we'll attack Skavenblight. And maybe we'll build your war compasses there while we're at it, afterwards. We shall see. Okay, what else do we need to do here? Vlad and oh, what the heck is this? Brahm the Mad, and it's a pile of warp grinders, which are actually, as I've learned in my Valkia campaign, very decent against piles of infantry. And as the way that we defend these territories is giant piles of infantry, could very well be useful here. Now, Maldwin, you wouldn't be able to reach it in time. Man, is this really the time to declare war on the Bloody Hands? Not 100% sure on that, but I really want to watch Ziltathios. Oh wait, Ziltathios attack Grunting Mingle. You know what? Let's do this, and let's do this cinematically as well. And I know it's basically there's nothing in there, but I mostly want to control the treemen and stuff and watch them fight, just for the fun of it, if nothing else. So let's do that. Huh, well this has certainly happened before, and a little bit of lag coming in as we get this one started. Do you make a speech there? Oh, you gotta love these guys. Absolutely love the color scheme. And yeah, once again, I completely recognize that this battle is completely unnecessary, but in some ways, it is very, very much necessary. I really wanted to see these units. I've been missing them ever since we got that battle with Draika helping us out very early in the campaign, and we might as well get some more out of them here. We also have Earthblood available to our, to Ziltathios over here. Interesting that the treemen look more like Durthu than the lords do, the ancient treemen. Probably because of their face a little bit. I mean, Durthu looks kind of pretty malevolent himself, so it does make sense as well. And there we go, we're gonna march in, gonna take a few shots from those arrows, but treemen are extremely tanky, and frankly, treekin are as well. And we also have Earthblood to heal them up, so none of this is going to hurt all that much. And there we go. Use those Durthu animations. Oh, look at those little treekin and those dryads. They look so tiny by comparison. Completely necessary battle. Actually now this makes me think. What else can we do? I mean, no, we used a lot of allegiance to get these guys to join us, but I'm sure the allegiance will come back up. Just gotta make sure to double check the alliance or the allegiance or whatever in order to get more points and possibly use this army again. We only do have it for 10 turns. I would, however, like to preserve it for our allies and also take a few extra things here. And there we go, look at those tree men go to work. Yeah, this was so worth it. Huh. The sound went away there for some reason. Man, I'm so disappointed that we can't build these guys. I can just see these units moving together with a bunch of zombies and stuff. It would feel so right. Alright, keep destroying those savage orcs. Oh, and I didn't even notice the tiny little dryads below. There we go, nice little line of malevolent treemen acting in concert too. And one other thing though, you know, we can build terracotta sentinels right now. And now I'm just thinking, which army would they be appropriate in? I'm not sure that they would work in any of our current armies, as they kind of have, their themes up and running already. I might have, I suppose, said the Ghost Army, but yeah, once again, the War Compasses would belong there much better. Mostly because it's a magical construct, and I feel like the Necrarch would appreciate the idea. Anyway, let's check back on the battle here. Obviously, we've split our army into two because we have a massive number of treemen, and they're doing a massive amount of damage to the enemy. I imagine that our casualties are pretty minimal, though we can't tell because our army came in hurt. We are also running around in the background with our giant wolves as well as our giant spiders here. Huh. Are giant spiders always red like those? Shouldn't they be purple? Their unit card is purple, or is this borrowing our colors because we're using this army, or is it still using our allied colors? And now I'm drawing a blank as to whether that occurs, and you know what we could do? We could check you. No, we can't? Wait, actually, those clothes look kind of reddish, but now I'm drawing a blank as to whether they always look like that. I feel like they don't. I feel like this means that the game is using our color scheme rather than our allies. Oh well, not a big deal. At least we get to watch the treemen, and their color scheme does not change. Also, it feels like the treekin are really top-heavy, right? Like, it doesn't feel like they would be balancing very well on those types of legs, although they do have a sort of backwards third joint by the looks of it here, which would give them a little bit of extra stability. Neat. And yes, this episode somehow turned into treekin anatomy. You gotta love those glowing eyes and the runes on the treemen. There we go, keep ripping those poor savage orcs apart. And now, the enemies are not long for this world, I imagine. Our lord is also facing off against the enemy lord, together with a group of treekin. Not that I think that they need him, just to make this battle a little bit quicker in that regard. Otherwise, we're moving towards the key building here, though, trying to take out a few extra units on the way. Charge of the dryads here. Do have to be careful with the dryads. They're pretty fragile, at least without a bunch of upgrades. Although last time I played Durthu, I did really enjoy making good use of those treekin and dryads and stuff, which is why which is one of the reasons why this was very much necessary. An Awakening of the Wood going down on the enemy regular orcs. So now these are also savage orcs. I think they all have... Oh, right, this is a garrison, so they all would obviously have Savage Orc. And there we go. Looks like one more unit left that has full HP. This second blob of units that was led by our Malevolent Branch Wraith is one. And honestly, I feel like the Malevolent Branch Wraith is like... It's like a tautology. Are there non-malevolent Branch Wraiths? Aren't all Branch Wraiths just really malevolent anyway? I feel like I've made that point before. There we go. Good job, Treeman. You gotta love watching these units work. Yeah, I think, we definitely gotta attack Ekrund, don't we? Ekrund has a massive garrison, and is a tier 5 settlement, so we can watch these guys do so much more damage and have a proper battle for them. Rather than this, which is obviously they're destroying everything in sight. Oh, and it looks like a unit of Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins is... Well, it tried to charge, but then it got shattered, and it is now terrified as well. It looks like the army routed just as they tried to charge in. Getting a few more uses of that Life Bloom, and, well, I actually don't know whether you have Life Bloom, but I assume you do. Using Earth Blood at the very least, but possibly Life Bloom as well. I know that these guys have a mix of Shadow and Life spells, but I would think that Life Bloom would be really the more useful thing here to keep all of those Treemen and Treekin nice and healed up. Anyway, there we go, a decisive little victory, and the top knots should be done for good. Well, there we go. That should be the end of Top Knots, unless I'm mistaken and they have a secret little army somewhere, but we're about to find out. We're going to occupy the place. It is a former elven colony, after all. And war coordination target lost and Top Knots destroyed. No more jumping over to Argalis, I suppose. And yeah, I definitely like the color scheme of the Malevolent Treemen and Dryads and Treekin much more than the regular ones. Really quite too bad that whatever allows Dryka to build them is broken and doesn't allow her allies to build them. And same thing goes for the idea that the game considers these to be all vampiric units just because we're controlling them. That's kind of silly. In fact, it should be a benefit to having living allies, just like the vamps do in the lore, that aren't affected by vampiric corruption and could go out and do stuff without, you know, suffering the consequences. Oh well, what can you do? And so I guess regardless of the elven colony thing, we don't get any special building here. It's just a regular shady township, isn't it? That's a little bit disappointing, but at least we get more salt. Though I suppose the salt will have to be built afterwards. You know what? Don't collect the income here, at least for now. We'll have to figure out whether we want to actually attack Stormhenge. I feel like we don't necessarily want to go any further south at this current time, and we want to deal with what we're working with here currently. And thus probably try to take Zaltathios to take Ekrund if we possibly can, but that'll have to wait until next time, because unfortunately we are once again out of time. The next time we do attack Skaven Blight with Rudy and try to, well, not destroy Scryer, because they do still have Tabaro and Magritta to take, but at the very least this will badly hurt them. Karakazor should probably fall to our Wood Elf quote-unquote allies, and maybe Ikit will attack Fort Saul. I'd love to see the fight, if it does indeed happen. And we're just going to ignore it for now, and we're going to probably start working on the Bloody Hands in various locations, here and here, Bathilda, and temporarily Maldwin until we delete him, as well as whatever it is that Pete gets up to next time. We really need to destroy Karakazul so that if we can... So that if we do, we are probably able to get into a defensive alliance with Imrik, because obviously it's not possible while he's allied with Karak Azul, which we've been killing this entire time. And then, of course, whatever else is going to go on up north, maybe we can manage to kill Throt for good with Roderick and take Prague over. In fact, if we siege it, I'm willing to bet that he will sally out, and thus we should be able to destroy those rats and take Prague for ourselves and not have to deal with them anymore. So stay tuned for all that. Plenty to do as always. Don't forget to leave a like and comment for your friendly neighborhood heretic. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.
Boyars,